Orchard Park Town Board. They were drawn, Julia? Julia, okay. Mombray. We got three. Braden McConnor. Close enough? And Gregory Bennett.
Yes.
So we will start off the questioning, the same as the procedure. Does anybody need me to read the rules again?
No.
Okay, thank you. Our first question goes to Julia.
Sure. Do you want us to do a quick opening?
Yes, the first will be opening to Julia. I'm sorry. Yes, your opening statement. Yes, please, your opening statement.
All right, great. So for those who don't know me already, my name is Julia Mombray.
You might need to pull it in.
Pull it in.
They were like
Closer?
kind of far away from us.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Sorry. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Julia Mombray. I'm running for re-election to the town board. And I think the final court ruling is out there. It's going to be a 3-year term. I've lived in Orchard Park virtually my entire life, born and raised in Orchard Park. I am a product of the Orchard Park school system, starting out in South Davis, moving all the way up to OPHS. I have 2 amazing daughters that have just started middle school and high school here. And I think that speaks to my commitment to the community. I care deeply about its future. I want this to be a place where my children can return. I spent 15 years as a litigator for small businesses, dealing with state laws, federal laws, local laws, and seeing how they apply practically to small businesses in the real world. Currently, I am a confidential law clerk to a Supreme Court judge, which is a fancy way of saying I'm an attorney that works directly for a judge in a confidential manner, helping mediate and settle cases, do legal research, and write decisions. I think that we as a board have made a lot of progress in the right direction, but I think there's still a lot of work left to do in terms of collaborative leadership, transparency, and fiscal responsibility. I am hoping to continue in the right direction that we have moved, and I would love your vote. Thank you.
And yes, next, Brandon.
Braden.
Braden.
Can you all hear me? Yes. Okay. So good evening, everyone. Thank you to the League of Women Voters for being here today and to everyone else who was involved in creating this event. My name is Braden McElhaney, and I'm running for Orchard Park Town Council because I believe in one simple idea, the idea of truly investing in our future. Investing in a future built on responsible growth, open government, and community that works for everyone. I'm proud to call Orchard Park my home. Through my work in real estate and property management and community service, I've seen firsthand the challenges that our town faces and the opportunities we have when we plan smartly, when we listen honestly, and when we put people before politics. We deserve a town government that is truly transparent, truly accountable, and truly fiscally responsible, not just in words, but in action. You've heard my Republican opponents talk about these same values for years. The difference is I won't use them as talking points. I will make them my mission. That means that every dollar that is spent will be done with purpose and with oversight. Every decision will be made in the open with community input and not behind closed doors. And every resident, whether you've lived here for 5 years or for 50, will have a seat at the table. I'm running for Orchard Park because Orchard Park deserves leadership that's forward-thinking, community-minded, and unafraid to ask and answer the tough questions. Now, professionally, I work as a realtor and in property management. I see where the system works and where it doesn't. And it's clear that by looking at the empty storefronts, looking at Arthur's, looking at Orchard Fresh, that the current system is not working. So together, I believe, with collaboration, we can rebuild our local business infrastructure, protect our neighborhoods, and ensure our town remains a place to be proud of for generations to come. Thank you, and I look forward to this discussion today.
Thank you. Gregory Ben.
Hello. I lived in Orchard Park 23 years. I went through college and medical school in Buffalo, did 10 years of training and 2 residencies in internal medicine neurosurgery. I worked in neurosurgery for 32 years, and during that time I was clinical director for neurosurgery at Erie County Medical Center for 22 years. And as you know, ECMC treats people from everywhere and at all stages in life. For the last few years, I've been able to serve the town on the planning board, and I've learned through public hearings, listening to the concerns of residents about some of the challenges that we face. Before that, I was on emergency management for about a year. I have a few ideas I want to share. I'm very interested to have our police trained as EMTs. I'm believing that this could help people in need, those perhaps who might be having some medical diagnosis along with the need to be questioned by police. I'm interested in having sidewalks, which I believe is the best remedy for empty storefronts. I want people to walk to the village as customers, to stay there, and to build that small business development and to be safe in the process. I think bike paths are great for wellness and connectivity, and I'll be focused on the character of our community in everything I do to try to include a sense of place for everyone in Orchard Park, and I want to be hearing and showing my concern and explaining whatever people need, all the while I'm serving on the board. Thank you.
Thank you. And we'll start off the questions now. Sorry, I was a little off on that one. The first question is going to Julia, and then we'll go across. How do you plan to address the walkability of and from, especially Freeman Road and Baker Road? I'm sorry. Is that correct? Yeah. 28 near the Orchard Park High School.
So to piggyback off of Dr. Bennett, I think walkability is important to economic development. I have, like I said in my opening, I have 2 children that are in middle school and the high school, and they walk after school. So I think that's very important, especially in those 2 areas, to have improved safety measures. What we are working on right now is we have a town-wide comprehensive plan in the works, an updated comprehensive plan in the works. We're also working on grant money for sidewalks in some of those areas. So we have put in a lot of work, have had open houses, and I think that we're partially through the process of that, waiting for the the state to do some approvals before we can actually put cement on there. Thank you.
Yeah, I would agree. I think walkability is extremely important when we have a community where we want to bring more people in this community, where we want to keep people safe. I know I attended the same event Marie did with Blue Zones, I think it was. They did a great presentation about sidewalks and roads and how to maintain traffic safety and maintain a pedestrian-based community system in the village. And I think expanding some of that into the town would be great. Getting crosswalks up at some of those busy intersections, like the one coming out of the Erie County Rail Trail, the one on Freeman and Baker. Getting crosswalks in is going to be important to making sure that people stay safe and they can cross the road safely.
Going door to door, I asked most residents that I've seen, up to about 100 households a day for the past 10 days, what they felt about sidewalks. It's not always consistent. Some people say in our town they don't want a sidewalk. They don't want the responsibility for clearing a sidewalk. They see advertising for slip and fall on TV all the time, but the majority do. And the explanation is, well, I'd rather have somebody have a sprained ankle than get run over by a car. I think that many of the subdivisions close to the village do have many residents, I've asked, and they say, yes, we need sidewalks on Taylor Road to Homewood, many roads that would link into the village. So I think it's a great opportunity, and I'm all in on sidewalks.
Thank you. Our next question will go to Brady. How do you plan to increase public involvement in the government decisions?
Well, I think it'll start by making sure that all of our business is done in a public forum, not making sure that most of the substantial decisions that our town board has made is not just made in executive session. I think it's gonna be super important to make sure that we create government programs, making sure our website is up to date, making sure our website is user-friendly, making sure there's a public calendar for all events. These are all things that we can do to engage the community a lot better.
I would encourage more public hearings and eventually putting any major town decision to a vote. I want the voters to feel involved, and I'm very respectful of the democratic process. I think the strongest decisions that a board can make are those based on a ballot proposition of the citizens.
Before you start speaking, Julie, can everyone bring their microphones closer to their mouth?
Yes, please.
We have people can't hear you in the back.
Is this better?
Yes.
Julie.
Okay, so our board has tried to increase transparency. And if you've watched some of our meetings, maybe it has been a rough start. Sometimes people push back on whether things should be in executive session or they should be in public session. Now, under the law, there are some things that need to be done in executive session when you're dealing with town employees. Some things are a sensitive nature, and they're laid out in the law. And so I think what we could do is do a better reminder to our board members. What are the items that you should be going into executive session for? And the default is really public. All of our discussion should be public. But to increase transparency, I think that we have a great candidate for our clerk, who has a wonderful background in technology, who's going to get our website updated with a lot more information on there. And one thing that we have done is we have worked to get our town board agenda on the website sooner. So it needs to go up the Friday before the Wednesday meeting with all of the supporting documentation. I think that was a little bit of pushback, but we've done a great job working with our managers to get everything in on time, so the public can go to the website, see what we're going to be talking about, and reach out to us and ask questions about it beforehand, before the meeting. Thank you.
Could you repeat the question again?
No problem. How do you plan to increase public involvement in government decisions?
Public hearings and, where necessary, ballot propositions with a vote.
Thank you. This question is for Gregory to start off with. What will you do to address increased traffic with the new building of homes, the condensed new buildings of homes?
I think we want to do a regular report with regard to traffic accidents. I was looking at the new comprehensive plan, and I was impressed by one of the maps that showed where the accidents tend to occur. The biggest concentration of accidents was at the intersection of Southwestern Boulevard, Lake Avenue, and Buffalo Street. My concern is accidents with bodily harm, and I've asked our consultants to add to that map those accidents that resulted in people going to the hospital by ambulance. I'm very concerned about public safety. I think ultimately we need a section of the town board website, the town website, that guides pedestrians, guides the motorists into what are the safest routes for travel, and considering time of day. We want to be smart with how we handle our traffic. There's a limit to the traffic studies, their accuracy and the reliability that I've seen coming through planning board. So I want a very interactive relationship between all of the resources that the town government can use to improve our safety record in the community.
Julia?
Sure. So as we inevitably increase development, traffic comes with that. So when we are formulating the updated comprehensive plan, we're gonna take that into account. And we're gonna have Labella, give us some, suggestions on how to deal with that. What we can do is we can do traffic calming studies. There are, we did one recently, did a traffic calming study on Beeler Road. And, we lowered the speed limit there and, we put out some additional enforcement. And we have a pilot program for speed humps. 3-year pilot program to see how that is gonna go. So there are options out there for us, but I think we have to do it in a thoughtful manner. And that's it, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would agree with both of them. I think it's important that we're making sure we're doing those traffic impact studies and doing traffic calming studies. I just want to make sure that the public is included in those. Doing things like the workshop that the village did a few months ago is a great way to bring the community's input in on that. I just want to make sure that that's a normal practice in our local government.
Thank you. Next question will be going to Julia. What is your vision for the future of Orchard Park?
Well, Orchard Park is inevitably going to grow, but to me, Orchard Park is unique. It's a gem in the South Towns. My vision is for Orchard Park to be vibrant, filled with small businesses, a place where your children want to come back after college and raise their families. That's what I truly see for Orchard Park. I would love to preserve the charm. I would love to preserve some of the rural parts of our town. I see it as just a beautiful place to live in the future, but we do have some options for moving towards the future, especially around the stadium. Thank you.
Is it me?
Yes,
All right. I envision an Orchard Park that is vibrant as well. I envision an Orchard Park that is truly reflective and representative of the people that live here. I envision an Orchard Park with leadership that is transparent and accountable. I think it's important that that we make smart decisions when it comes to development around the stadium. I want to make sure that the leaders that we elect are working with these developers objectively and not just because they're donating to our campaigns. These are the types of things that I want to make sure that residents are aware of. I also want to make sure that residents feel comfortable with their leaders in this community. They know they can sit back and not have to worry about our leaders making decisions for themselves. And I also want to make sure that we get rid of this pay-for-play rhetoric, and I want to make sure we get rid of this good old boys standard, good old boys club standard when it comes to local leadership. That's what I envision.
thank you. Mr. Berger?
Yes, I envision smart growth with new businesses that have high value for the community. We recently had an expansion in Eaton Mission Systems on California Road with a number of new high-quality, high-paid jobs. I'd like to see that same smart growth approach to preserving green space, to making the highest value of experience and quality of life for all of our residents. That'll be worked at through the comprehensive plan. And I don't want to forget anyone with their own personal needs. I want this to be a very responsive community. Going door to door, I've touched all corners of our town and spoken to people of all socioeconomic status. We do have a diverse town. And I want us to be responsive and caring for everyone.
Thank you. Again, you have to put those microphones right on your mouth.
Oh, sir.
They're not, those are right in
Sorry, I
there.
apologize.
Getting complaints in the back. The next question will go to Brady. What are the first 3 things you would push to be implemented if you are elected?
is make sure we do get these, day one, we're gonna start working on these traffic calming studies, making sure that, our community is walkable. And I think that leads into my second point, making sure that we have a business infrastructure that's welcoming, that reflects some of our neighboring communities, and that really truly offers opportunities for small business owners and for families to come into this community. And as a realtor, I also think we need to make sure we have a system where housing costs are coming down so that young families who are coming into Orchard Park aren't facing the hardship of paying for these really expensive houses. I want to make sure that they know that their property values are going to be taken care of.
Thank you. Gregory?
Yes, I really want to focus on law enforcement, safety. I'm interested in the police as EMT. I'm interested in the sidewalks, and I'm very determined to have the best comprehensive plan in all of New York State, and that will improve everyone's quality of life and be open to ongoing and prolonged public hearings so that we understand every voice in the community and they're represented in our plan for the future.
Thank you. Julia?
So one thing that I would like to focus on, probably in partnership with Councilman Honer, is a central database that takes communications and complaints from residents and routes them to the appropriate department that monitors who has reviewed them, what action items need to be taken, and when that complaint has been finalized, completed, resolved. The second thing that I really would like to do is update the town code. A lot of problems arise, and we look at the code to see what the town board can do about it. Well, it's out of date, or our hands are tied. So what we have done is we have formed a code committee, and they have an uphill battle, I will tell you, but they have prioritized some of the major items in our town code that need to be updated, and there's more work to be done. But if you update the town code, the town board has more flexibility, they have more tools in their toolbox to address some of the issues that we're facing. And the third thing, to reiterate Dr. Bennett, is our comprehensive plan, our updated comprehensive plan. I envision that to be hopefully the best new comprehensive plan that comes out, because it really guides the town board and all of the other decision makers in town in a way that is cohesive and it helps our town be successful.
Thank you. Now we're gonna go back to Gregory for this next question. What do you think should be done to fill vacant stores in the area, in this town?
Sidewalks, good relationships with the small business community, clear lines of communication to promote development, and continuity of our character in the community, so that it's a aesthetically good result, a beautiful place people want to come to and live in.
Thank you. Julia?
Sure. So I think that what the town board has been working on and what we can do better with is building a relationship with the Chamber of Commerce to sort of help us help small businesses. We need to have that communication open to say, what do you need from us, right? What is the hurdle here? And I think that communication is the key. Also, we could work on, and we already have been working on, streaming the development process. Sometimes it's hard to get a project through and people give up. I will say that our planning board and all of our subcommittees do a good job of vetting all of the projects that come in front of them, because sometimes the planning process being a little bit more difficult is a feature, not a bug. we don't wanna make any rash decisions and create problems in the future, but there are definitely ways that we can streamline that planning process.
Thank you.
Can you please repeat the question?
What should be done to fill the vacant stores in the town?
Oh, sorry, was that it?
In the town, yes.
Yeah, I think it starts with working with developers as objectively as possible. Again, bringing in ideas like business incubation, things like that to help small businesses kind of get launched throughout the community. Creating a comprehensive business committee or council that is focused on residents who own businesses, residents who are directly affected by businesses, different business leaders, allowing these people to be on that committee, working with them to be kind of working in conjunction with the town board, so that they're at our meetings, they're giving us insight on different business developments, and they're giving us their insight on what it's like to be a business owner in this community. I know that different developers have come in, and it's been really hard for them to get a meeting at the town board. It's been really hard for them to deal with the members of the town board. So I think it's really important that we're truly and objectively bringing in these developers, having these conversations, making sure that we're bringing in a wide range of different companies and getting the best person, getting the best developer and company for the job.
Thank you. I don't know what's going on with the microphones, but I think we all need to use our teachers' voices here. Next question we'll be bringing back to Julia. There's been a great deal of discussion on town committees. How would you make sure that community members, not the majority party of the board, can get on a committee? It is currently next to impossible to have a newcomer.
Okay, so all of our boards and committees are listed on the town website, and they're appointed on a rotating basis. So there should be someone, an open vacant seat every year, and they rotate. On the town website, you can go and put in a letter of interest for any of the town committees, or any of the volunteer positions with the town. What I think that we will be doing is working with the town clerk and IT to get all of the vacancies up there in one central location. And also, probably it would be a good idea to publish them in the Bee as well. Thank you.
Great.
Yeah, I think it's important that we're being transparent when it comes to appointing people to committees. I don't know that a rolling basis is the best idea. I think that we should have open, sessions and interviews for these different appointments, more so than just one every few years. I think it should be pretty open, and every year we should be appointing a new board to these committees, just to make sure that we are having good and consistent voices. So we're not having stagnant voices, that we're having new voices and diverse voices coming in to these different committees, so that we can have a kind of a rolling perspective on what's going on in the town and these different departments.
Gregory?
My experience on emergency management was I was very impressed with the professional emergency managers that work for the town. They have advanced training in this. I'm a physician, yes, I made some contributions, but I could see they were special people for that job. For planning, I've been taking classes through the New York State Department of State. I've learned a lot during the last 3 to 4 years, sitting and listening to the public during public hearings. I would suggest that we have more alternates that go through the process of building some experience on committee, can fill in for temporary vacancies, and then reach that level of skill where they're really able to serve the town and make the right decisions. When bad decisions are made, unfortunately, development is delayed, litigated incorrectly by the town, perhaps wasting town resources. So having good people on committees is valuable for the whole town, takes time to learn, and I think having 3 or 4 people attending as alternates and eventually becoming voting members is the right approach.
Thank you. Braden, back on a point we have here, how would you suggest for the stakeholders of the town to get more involved with the government to be on these committees?
Well, I think it just starts by creating a welcoming environment, just letting them know that the town board is here to work with anybody. If you're gonna invest in our future, which is something that's been at the top of my platform, then I'd like it to encourage you to have a voice. So yes, we should have those committees open to our stakeholders.
Gregory?
I think we can promote the quality of the decision-making by encouraging guests to our meetings for the public hearings and to present their own special skills. I can imagine on planning that we can invite members of the community who've worked with special interest groups. I know we've had Providence Farms before the planning board. I would love to see any representatives from civic groups involved in agriculture, perhaps, or those involved in promoting athletics and wellness, to attend as a group and present for our own knowledge. I've done some of my own studies in housing, affordable housing, for example, and presented back to the board after I learned some things. But we should be open to learning from all of the resources in our community and regularly seeking out their knowledge so that it adds to what we know.
Thank you. Julia?
So I agree. Along those same lines, I would encourage any resident or group that is interested in joining any of our boards to attend those boards, see what goes on, reach out to the members of those boards. I would encourage. I think we do need more public engagement there. And again, posting these things on the website, the openings of the subcommittees, posting the minutes of the subcommittees, and then just reaching out to the community groups to attend those board meetings.
Thank you. And the next question will go to Gregory. Has your campaign accepted any money, donations from a developer? And has this developer who donated to your campaign received any zoning approvals related to the new stadium development?
No funds from any developers.
Julia?
I think there was one check for $250 from an LLC that may be a developer, but nobody that's been in front of the board that I have voted on at all. My campaign finance reports are up to date, and 99% of those contributions were from friends and family.
Same, I do not have any developer donations. Again, all my FPC filings are up to date as well. Most of my campaign is funded and supported by everyday people in this community. And to those who have supported my campaign, thank you very much.
Thank you. Julia, here's a question, start back to you. What capital improvements do you see for the Orchard Park Senior Center?
Well, I would love to see some more outdoor activities, something more along the lines of the bocce courts that we've put in. I think we have a very active senior population, so if we can utilize those summer months here. A hot topic is a pool. The overhead for a pool is a lot, but what I will say is we have an incredible recreation department. We have an incredible senior center department and director here. And I think that they can get smart and creative with their budget to cover some of those costs. But that's something that we would have to really look at closely, pull out our calculators and analyze the numbers on a project like that. And maybe it should even go to a referendum vote for the residents to make that decision.
I would agree. Going around the community, knocking on doors, pool does seem to be the hot button topic for here at the community center. I agree that it's a pretty big project. It would take a lot to do the research on and to look at the funding. Again, smart development is something that we care about. But it certainly would be a great project to offer to the seniors here in this community center. Not that this community center needs much more. This is a great facility and institution we have here. But I'd like to echo what Marie said earlier. Transportation is going to be a big thing to get people here. This is a little bit outwardly located, but for someone I work in property management, I work with a lot of our senior properties in Erie County, and our seniors are just as energetic as any of us, and they want to do all the same stuff that we want to do. But a lot of them are limited because of lack of transportation. Making sure that we have a system for transportation to get them here, I think is crucial.
Thank you. Gregory?
Yes, I'd like to advocate actually for our youth. The youth of America has a declining health achievement. I'm very concerned about their lack of experience with the outdoors. It's been shown that exposure to simply walking in the woods will lower a person's blood pressure. It alleviates stress. And I think to have people learn to appreciate the outdoors through outdoor training experiences on the property, and to develop some of the skills you might, for example, in scouting or 4-H, appreciation for wildlife. I think that would be very high value addition to the programs at the center.
Thank you. Thank you. This goes to Brady. What's your special contribution that you can bring to this team?
Well, first and foremost, I know I'm young, and I know that that has been a thing, going door to door. But I think that, for someone my age, I'm very proud of the experience that I've had. I've worked in nonprofits. I've worked as a preschool teacher for a nonprofit offering education to disenfranchised low-income families. I've worked in compliance and balanced regulatory regulations for Delaware North through our casino industry. I've also worked, again, in real estate and in property management. I think I have a wide range of skills that I can bring to the table. And I think that having someone who knows the process, who's been in different fields, who understands what everyday people are going through, I think it's important to be able to bring that type of experience to the table. I also think it's important that we start electing people my age. The decisions that we make in government right now, whether it be local, state, or federal, the policies that we pass right now will affect people of my generation. So it's important that we start getting voices of that generation at the table. And nobody's saying that we want to get rid of the old guard and take over. We can learn from your wisdom, we can learn from your experience, but introducing these types of perspectives is important.
Thank you. Gregory?
I have some concerns about affordable housing. I know the challenges with the cost of labor and materials, and I would be interested to bring together civic groups and to try to meet the housing needs of people of all ages, of all segments of our community, because I feel it's the right thing to do.
Julia?
Thank you. So one of the strengths that I bring to the table is my legal background, my representation of small businesses, and my own small business ownership as well. I worked at a small to mid-sized law firm as a partner, managing the employees there on a day-to-day basis. I deal with federal, state, and local laws daily as well. And I think one of the biggest strengths that I have is that I have been actually doing this job for almost 4 years. And it's like earning an undergraduate degree in small government. So I hope to carry on with that for the next 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Here's a question. We'll start with this question. What makes Orchard Park a welcoming place compared to the other towns around it? Gregory, it's yours.
I think it's really the strength of our neighborhoods. I've been walking our neighborhoods now for several weeks, talking to people. I see people out walking together, riding bicycles together, willing to stand around their front porches and tell me stories. I spent time today talking with a lady who was just so proud of her grandkids and how her husband had worked as a dentist in an office over the garage. It's a great feeling to be connected to people and to know that we can share some of their lives. I'm looking forward to the chance to serve the town and getting to know people and sharing their own life stories along with mine and spreading that amongst our community.
Julia?
Sure. I think what makes Orchard Park a welcoming place is our residents. We have wonderful people that live here, wonderful people that take pride in our town, that volunteer their time on a number of boards and in sports. I think that really is what makes our town welcoming. We approve on the town board block party permits all the time, so neighbors are coming together, and you know, in a nice way like that. And I think the town and our departments and our parks department and our highway department, they really take pride in the job that they do. They take, you know, a lot of care in our town-owned parks, and all of the things that we have in this community.
Yeah, I would agree. The residents here are incredible. I've been going door to door since March. I've gone through 3 pairs of Walmart shoes. So a lot of doors, a lot of walking. But the conversations that I've had with people are incredible. You get to hear some of the stories. And these are Democrats, Republicans, Independents, anybody, or people who aren't even registered. These are people. This is what our community looks like, and their stories matter. Their stories are important. I work with a lot of first-time home buyers in my real estate business who are coming to this community because of the charm, because of the incredible green spaces that we have, because of the school district. I think just making sure we have a town board that's working actively to make sure we can maintain those and build those up and develop smartly and maintain fiscal responsibility. These are all things that are important, and that's what I'm hearing at the doors.
Thank you. Julia, this question's for you to start off. What is your position on police in Orchard Park wearing body cam?
I am wholly in support of the police department wearing body cams. The body cams are on our police officers as we speak.
Great.
Yes, I would agree. I think it's extremely important that our police officers wear body cameras, not only to protect the people they're interacting with, but to protect them as well.
Gregory?
I'm supportive.
That was fast. This is a question that we've asked earlier, but I would like to hear from the town council people. Do you support the idea of the bills or the county, and now the state, paying Orchard Park for police services for stadium events?
No.
No,
Great.
no, I do not.
Gregory?
I think it's something to consider, but I don't understand the laws. I'd be very interested to get legal counsel.
Julia?
Along those same lines, I think there are restrictions as to who can cut the town a check for what expenses. But if those organizations can contribute in a different way to take some pressure off of the town, in other ways, I would be supportive of that. And I think what is important and what our board has been working towards is a dialogue between all of those entities, in a partnership. Thank you.
Thank you. Gregory, this is a question for you, and you've already heard it earlier. What is your feeling about supporting, allowing larger hotels near the stadium?
I'm in agreement with that. I think it's good for the town. We need that business property tax revenue to take the load off of our residential property taxpayers.
Julia?
I am in favor of a hotel near the stadium. I think it would serve not only on game days, but we have many businesses in this community that bring people in for conferences, or, you know, bring people in for interviews, and they have no place to stay in Orchard Park. So I would be in favor of something near the stadium that is, obviously goes through the planning process.
Thank you. We're coming down to the last questions. And we're going back to Julie on this one. What is the position, your position on the support for the continuing development of the Erie Cattaraugus Rail Trail?
I think that the town is encouraging of a wide variety of outdoor recreational opportunities for our residents. I think that particular trail is an asset to the community. Now, we've talked a lot about transparency tonight. I want to be transparent. My sister is on the board of the rail trail, so I think that any votes that come before the board, I would have to recuse myself on. But I do think that it is an asset to our community.
Thank you.
I agree. I think the rail trail is a great economic opportunity for our community. I think that it's a great way to welcome people into our community. I mean, that is the end goal of all of this, is to make sure that we're having people in our community, that we're welcoming people into our community. And I agree, again, what Marie said earlier, I don't think just a small group of people should be in the way of halting anything from that. So again, I agree that I support the rail trail strongly.
I support the rail trail.
Great. And the next question on the same issue is about safety of the rail trail. What is your feeling about the safety and how to support that? Great.
Yeah, I think it's important to look at a couple things. One, making sure that there's crosswalks at the parts where you have to cross the road to get from one side of the trail to the other, just to maintain that safety for the people traveling. I also want to make sure that we work with contractors and developers to make sure that the trail is built up so that it's safe for people to walk and bike, so there's not a lot of roots and obstructions in the way. So those are two things that we need to do to make sure the rail trail is as optimal as possible.
Yeah, I actually walked the rail trail from the rail station to Jewett-Homewood, to Ellicott, and into the West Falls section, and they're very different. I think it's a great idea. I think the improvements need to go through the planning board. We need to contribute at the highest possible level for the benefit of that segment of the trail that's in our town. We want to be open to any knowledge we gain from the federal regulations that apply, from any state environmental, other regulations, and I'm very concerned about all of our residents and their safety and security on the trail. And I would be looking for advice from law enforcement, options for community policing, whatever we need by way of added security to make sure that everyone experiences the highest quality experience.